I don't know. Somebody was asking me how to make a chuck roast the other day, and so I figured I'd make some. I'm gonna put these little short videos together and see. First step is to season the chuck roast with salt and pepper. I seasoned. I have to season it a little bit more. I wanted to get it started, so I threw it in this hot oil. So you want to brown it off real good on both sides. And then you're going to take it out of the skillet, and I'll tell you what to do next. Yeah, just wanted to make sure that was recording. So we're searing it off in the skillet first. Okay, so you can see we got this nice and brown. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this out of this skillet, put it into the crock pot. Okay, now I got about one large onion, and I buy like a bag of those shortcut carrots because I don't feel like peeling the carrots, and just cut them in half and throw them in the skillet. So we're going to let this brown up. Okay. So this is going to need to brown for probably about 10 minutes or so. Get a nice color to it, and then we'll add some tomato paste to it. Some red wine if you have it. If you don't have red wine, you just need a cheap red wine. You don't want your expensive stuff that you're drinking. You want to buy a cheap bottle, to cook with. If you don't have the wine, it's no big deal. But we're going to let this brown. We'll add the tomato paste. We'll let it brown some more. Then we'll add the red wine, and then we'll let that reduce, and then we'll add our beef stock. And for this, we just got the beef stock here. The beef flavored broth, Nature's Basket. And you can see here I put the brown chuck roast in the crock pot. My crock pot's a little bit small for this size chuck roast, but you just shove it in there, don't worry about it, because as it cooks, it's going to shrink up anyway. Okay, so you can see how we're getting, see how we're getting these onions to brown up. So they still got a little ways to go, but it's important that you brown this off really good. Now, if you're not going to take the time to brown it, then just throw it in the crock pot raw, because it doesn't make any sense to do it half-assed, right? So you want to let these onions brown up, and then you want to add your tomato paste to it. Let it brown up a little bit more. Deglaze with the red wine, and then add your beef stock. So I'll show you that when I get to that step. Okay, so I'm going to add, I get this Contadina tomato paste, doesn't matter what kind you buy, but I get a few of these cans when I buy them, so I have them in the house. So you want the smallest can for this, because you only need about half of this can. And what's going to happen is if you put the other half in your fridge, you're going to forget you have it in there. And then next time you look, it's going to have mold growing all over it, and you're going to throw it away. So I just put half of this can in here, and then I just throw it away now, so I don't have to worry about it. But it's up to you what you do. Okay, so we got the tomato paste in there, and now we're going to deglaze it. We're going to hit it with some red wine. We don't need a whole lot, about 2 or 3 ounces for this. We'll let it reduce a little bit, and then we'll add our beef stock. Bring that to a boil, and then we'll pour it into the crock pot over the chuck roast. So you can see this has a nice dark rich color. It has some body to it, and that's because we browned those onions and carrots in there, and we put the tomato paste in there. So I mean, you guys know what beef broth looks like coming out of a can or a carton, and it doesn't look like this. So we'll pour this over. Now you want to save a little bit of your beef broth, because later on you're going to have to thicken up your juice in your crock pot that's cooking with the pot roast. You're going to have to thicken that up a little bit. I like to just use cornstarch for that instead of flour, because I don't want to have to worry about cooking the flour taste out. Plus my son's been watching his gluten, a little bit gluten sensitive, so I like to just use cornstarch. So you want to mix your cornstarch with a little bit of the beef broth instead of using cold water, right? Why would you use something that has no taste like water when you can use some of the beef broth that you saved? Now, if you didn't save any, then you'll have to use water. It's no big deal. But I like to save a little bit of my beef broth for the cornstarch slurry. Okay, so you can see here now that I have the chuck roast and the onions, the carrots, and the beef stock all in the crock pot here. So it's about 11 o'clock here, so I want to make this fast. So I'm going to put it on high for about 5 hours, and then it should be ready. Obviously, if you're leaving for work in the morning and you want to put this on, you're going to put it on low. If for some reason you get a late start and you don't have a lot of time and you still want to make this, maybe you only have 3 hours or something to let it cook, you can cut the chuck roast into 4 pieces or something like that so it cooks faster. But we'll let this go here. And so I was talking about the gluten-free sensitivity. I have some gluten-free brownies in the oven here right now. So this is that, yeah, my oven's pretty dirty, by the way, but this is King Arthur gluten-free brownie mix. This is a really good brand of gluten-free stuff. It tastes really good. I mean, they taste just like regular brownies. So I don't know why, but it seems like when you buy stuff that's already made gluten-free, it just tastes horrible. But if you just take some time to make your own, with these mixes here, these King Arthur mixes, they have a bunch of different ones. You'll save money and they taste better. So I was also multitasking here while making the pot roast. So I made myself a couple over easy eggs here with some toast while I was waiting for the onions and carrots to brown up. And so I'm going to eat that now. And then once the pot roast is done in about 5 hours or so, or I'll show you how I put together the gravy for it. And then, of course, I'm going to make some mashed potatoes on the side. You know how to do that, so I don't have to show anybody that. Okay, so our pot roast has been cooking for about 4.5 hours here. So we've got it out of the crock pot at this point. And what we're going to do is we're going to thicken up the gravy. So we strained the juice to get the carrot and the onion out of it. Now we brought it to a boil. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to mix some cornstarch in with our beef stock. Like I said, we'll just make a little slurry and then we'll thicken this up. And after we thicken it up, we're going to put it back into the crock pot and just kind of keep it warm there until we're ready to eat. So again, we just mixed some of the couple tablespoons of cornstarch into the beef stock here, just to make a little slurry. And we're going to put about half of this in because we don't want it to get too thick. So once you put it in, you have to get it to come back to a simmer here before you see how thick it's going to get. Okay, so that's kind of got it thick enough right there. So now what I'll do is I'll just taste it and I'll adjust the seasoning. You know, I'm going to throw a chunk of butter into it there. Threw a chunk of butter in, just stir it around there. Then we'll just adjust the seasoning with salt and pepper. And put the pot roast back into the crock pot and pour the sauce back over it and let it stay warm until we're ready to eat. So that's basically it. Then after that, you know, all you have to do is, you know, shred up the pot roast, make some mashed potatoes, put it over the mashed potatoes, and top it with the gravy. Any questions on it, let me know.